Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people will start to listen to the podcast and learn the truth about the war in Ukraine. My name is Artem, and here is the news. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stated that Russia is doing everything to slow down Ukraine's food export by sea. Zelenskyy believes that with these actions, Russia is deliberately inciting the food crisis so that hundreds of thousands of people become forced migrants who will seek asylum in Turkey or the EU countries or die of hunger. According to him, more than 150 ships are in queue to get Ukraine's grain. The president stressed that this is an artificial queue created by Russia. He informed that during the operation of the grain initiative since July, due to the Russian slowdown, Ukraine underexported about 3 million tons of food. This is the annual volume of consumption for 10 million people. According to the investigation of the German broadcaster NDR, Russia intends to export a total of almost 1.8 million tons of grain from the occupied territories of Ukraine in 2022. This will allow the Kremlin to earn about $600 million, reports UNN. Based on the data of Russian documents, data of sea traffic and satellite images, since the beginning of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, about 1 million tons of grain stolen from Ukraine have probably already been shipped through seaports in the annexed Crimea. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that he does not lose hope of organizing a meeting between the presidents of Ukraine and Russia to end the war, reports European Pravda. According to Erdogan, Putin is now more open to negotiations than before. The Turkish president added that Zelenskyy does not have such a block about the idea of negotiations as before as well. Erdogan informed that he hopes to mediate a phone call between the two leaders in the coming days. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that over the past 24 hours, units of the defense forces have repelled enemy attacks in the areas of 10 settlements in the Kharkiv, Lugansk and Donetsk regions. According to the available information, a large part of the population left the occupied city of Kherson. The Russian forces who remained in the city change into civilian clothes and move into the abandoned apartments. The enemy is preparing Kherson for street battles. In the city of Energodar, Russian soldiers are looting abandoned apartments and hotels where they lived. Along with the search for weapons abroad, the Russian military leadership does not stop trying to attract foreign mercenaries to the war in Ukraine. According to intelligence, in one of the countries of the Middle East, the recruitment of militants continues. The Air Force of Ukraine informed that over the past 2 weeks, Ukrainian units have demonstrated much better skill in downing Iranian-made Shahed kamikaze drones, shooting down 85% of them, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The Air Force spokesperson noted that attempts had been made to shoot down these drones with machine guns, but this is an ineffective weapon against them, and it's dangerous to use in densely populated areas. He said that the aircraft, anti-aircraft missiles, ground forces air defense, anti-aircraft self-propelled guns, large-caliber machine guns and electronic warfare systems were being used effectively to combat the Shaheds. President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen said that the EU is considering the idea of allocating 1.5 billion euros to Ukraine every month, reports Hromadske. According to her, it will mean overall support of 18 billion for the next year. Ursula von der Leyen stressed that such a move would ensure a stable, reliable and predictable flow of income for Ukraine. The Cabinet of Ministers adopted a resolution thanks to which students of senior years of universities and technical vocational schools who are currently studying on a contract basis will be able to switch to the budget. This means that the state will pay for their education, reports Ekonomiczna Pravda. This will be possible for the children of the fallen defenders of Ukraine, war veterans and their children, internally displaced persons who have moved from communities under occupation or where active hostilities are taking place. According to the Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, overall more than 80,000 people will be eligible for this program this year. For this purpose, the state will allocate 363 million hryvnias this year. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.